Alright guys, Alex here, super simple video. If you spend 100 hours doing this correctly, you will have a system that can print your money from thin air. And I'm just gonna show you exactly how you can create the system, and it's pretty straightforward. So before we get started, I wanted to know how many hours you put into a traditional 5-year degree, calculating all the lectures and the time spent on assignments. And well, obviously I just asked ChatGPT because why do the math myself? And it just gave me the math, and we ended off around 9,000 hours with 5 years to get a low entry, low paying job with no freedom, no nothing. And the funny thing is that 99% would rather spend 9,000 hours and then have no freedom, no money, and no life. And I get that. They don't really have to think. Everything is just laid out for them. And that's okay, because this video is it's not for them. You're probably here because you want to become a profitable trader, or maybe you're just curious. Whatever the case might be, I'm going to show you the 11 steps that will take you from rookie to cookie. Maybe you want to buy a Lamborghini, maybe you want a nice watch like this, or maybe you just want more time with your family, more freedom. Well, this is how you can get it through trading. So grab a pen and paper and start cracking some notes, because this is literally all you need. So in order to become a profitable trader and get the freedom, well, you have to have two things in order. You have to have clarity and you have to have confidence. This is a combination that only 1% of the people who trades has. And funny enough, it's also the people who are profitable. So let's break down how you can achieve these things. First step, you have to forget everything that you have learned in order to find a direction. It's good that you have knowledge, but you need to put it to use in the right way. This means that you need to forget 99%. You need to scratch all the strategies, chat rooms, and funny methods that you've learned, joined, and tried out, because having all of this clutter is basically like starting 10 different businesses. They will all fail. You have to find a way and focus on it. The clutter is what makes you lose money, because you have no direction, you have no strategy, you have no system. You are just trying out a bunch of bullshit. And the beautiful thing about trading is that you can do it in a million different ways. You just gotta find your own way. That's what I'm gonna show you here. So first up, you gotta understand two things. Otherwise, this process is not gonna work. First up is trading is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a thing where you get rich overnight. Yes, you have your 1 in a billion Dogecoin millionaires, whatever. But if you're going for these holy grails and ultra unrealistic high returns, you will just keep trying and trying, and then you will never really amount to anything. So it's not a get rich quick scheme, it's a business. And in order for business to make money, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work until you make it work. I'm not gonna lie, trading is a lot harder to master than most business models, because it's a mental game more than anything else. But as soon as you have this pinned down, you will not spend a lot of hours on this every day like you do in a traditional service-based business. And that's why trading is beautiful, because you have the freedom, you have your system, and that's just what you execute on. And the pros and cons, the harder it is, well, the bigger is the reward. Fortunately, if you do it the right way, it's not very hard. It takes 100 hours. That's what I'm going to show you. So if you're not willing to put in the work, you should just stick to your normal 9 to 5, or maybe try to find some other way and keep doing that. But if you are ready to actually get to work, just watch this video. And the other thing that you have to understand is that there's literally only one way that you can fail. And that is if you have a plan B. And a plan B usually sounds like, oh, if this doesn't work for me, I'll find something else, which basically means that you have already planned for failure. You have now failed before you have even gotten started. Trading is the only plan, and you need to feel it deep down into your eye sockets and through your veins that you will and can succeed with this. You need to be able to see it. Otherwise, it won't happen. Because if you have the plan B, then as soon as you hit a wall and there's some kind of obstacle, then you are more likely to throw in the towel, because, oh, I'm just gonna go find something else, this didn't work for me. No, it's gonna work. All you have to do is figure out how you get through the wall or around it or below it. It's your plan A. And if you have it as your plan A, you cannot fail. If you feel it deep down into your bones, well, it's gonna happen. And this takes me to step 3. You have to go back to the basics. The market structure is the key to your success. Unfortunately, what I see today on YouTube, streamers, Instagram, everybody's portraying trading like there's a one-hit wonder, something you can just copy yourself to, and they're making it really complicated and really fancy and putting a lot of terms into it to make it seem complicated. Why are they doing this? Well, they want you to buy their product because you don't understand it. You don't know how to put all of this information together and synthesize it. In reality, you don't need all of this. The market moves in a very specific way that is based on human psychology. And because there's so much money going through this market every single day. And this is created from humans. And when we look at human psychology, if we strip everything away from us, our skin color, where we're from, etc., we're all greedy, we're jealous, we're impatient, we're all of this. And this directly translates into the market, which means there's a certain structure. And this structure is all you need. The technical analysis is all you need to become profitable. So grab a piece of paper and pin down the basic principles that I'm just going to summon up right here, right now, of how the market moves. You need to mix and match what fits into you, but I'm going to get into that in the further steps. So there's supply and demand, and there's support and resistance, there's fair value gaps, there's inverse fair value gaps. You don't really need those, but you can. And there's also equilibrium, which is basically the 50% zone where a price has a tendency to retrace to and then bounce back from there. And then there's also trends, retracements, break and retest, and liquidity grabs. This is all you need to know about the market in order to become successful. And then you have to create a plan around this, and I'll get into that. And you have to make it as simple as possible for yourself, because if it's not simple, you don't know what you did wrong and what you did right. It's very hard for you to get data on what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, and actually find a solid and profitable system that will make it possible for you to print money from thin air. That moves to the next thing, which is the other key factor in your strategy. And again, nobody talks about this, and it's because they want to make trading complicated for you. Trading is not something you can copy. You cannot take my strategy and get the same results. I will show you everything. I will show you my results, but you'll never be able to use it like I use it because it's my strategy. I created this from the perspective from who I am as a person, what I want to do in the market, how long I want to be in the trade, etc. So the solution to all your problems and the solution to how you become profitable is you. You have to have your way of doing things. You have to have your strategy. You have to have something that you find interesting, something that you want to execute on and on in the market. Pretty simple. It's market structure and then you, and together you have your system that will eventually become profitable. And I'll show you exactly how you can do that. Okay, so in order to use you as a solution, you have to ask yourself some questions, something that you probably haven't done before. And this could be something in the lines of, what do I like? What do I find interesting in the market? When do I want to trade during the day? What don't I like? Where do I see myself going as a trader? How long do I want to be in a trade? What does a dream trading day look like for me? And then take the answers to your questions and combine them with what I'm going to show you in step 7. And then we got to move on to step 5, because obviously you have to challenge yourself a little bit. You have to figure out, what are my negative tendencies in this market? Where do I go wrong? Because in order to improve at anything in this life, we have to accept that we are not good. We're not good enough. Like Socrates said, all I know is that I know nothing. And it's like that with trading. It's like that in business. You have to accept your faults. So you have to ask yourself some hard questions, because it's hard admitting to yourself that you're a failure and that you need to improve. So this could be something in the lines of, what are my tendencies when I'm in a trade? What results in me fucking up miserably? When do I get emotional? When do I overtrade? When do I break my rules? When do I revenge trade, etc.? Introspection and reflection. This is what is key, because you are the solution to this. You can use everything in the market. You can use a bunch of different strategies, but if you don't know yourself as a trader, well, you're not going to get anywhere. You cannot create your strategy. You cannot create your way of doing things. You cannot figure out the way for you if you don't know who you are in the market. The way you do this is obviously by logging everything from before, doing, and after your trade to actually see where it goes wrong. And I'll get to that in a second. The next step is, you have to pick your observation. So what I told you before about how the market moves, you have to look at the market and you have to learn how this market moves. You have to learn what the market does in certain situations. And then you have to find an observation based on the basic principles from how the market moves. And then you got to combine this observation, these challenging questions about what you find out about yourself and you as a solution, where you want to go as a trader, etc. You have to combine it with a business plan, because again, trading is business. If you treat it like a business, if you keep working on the business, trying to make the business work, then eventually this business will make you money. So in order to create a business, you have to have a business plan. And this is basically the fundamental of your system. This is where you start creating your system. So you have to create this plan around what you figure out about yourself as a trader and where you want to go. So let's take me, for example. The observation that I like is supply and demand, within a specific pattern on gold. And this is what I want to trade because I find gold very interesting. It's a precious metal. Gold is just kind of sexy, right? And then it's gold against the dollar. The dollar is basically just being printed from thin air. So I just see so much opportunity there. Like in terms of how much I want to trade, I don't want to sit down and execute 8 trades in a day and sit in front of the screen, you know, just grinding and really being in my emotional ups and downs. No, I want to take between like 0 and 4 trades a week. A good week for me is 1 or 2 trades. It happens that I take 4 trades, and that's only if I really see the opportunity there. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on my hands and I'm waiting. I'm really comfortable with just taking a couple trades a month, and then that's it because I have my system. I don't want to be a lot in the market. I look at the market 5 to 30 minutes a day, and then I execute whether there's a opportunity or not. I'm really comfortable with being on the 1 hour time frame, just, you know, waiting and seeing and not being a lot in the market. And I would be very uncomfortable if I would need to sit and scalp and execute on all the little swings that will happen in the market. And I don't like spending a lot of time on it. I like to spend my time on something productive, something like this, teaching you guys about trading, bringing some value to the world, and actually helping people improve themselves every day. And I can do this because I trade, and I've been doing it for almost 6 years. That's what I like about trading. I have my system. It works perfectly. I have around a 65% win rate. I make around 2 times on every trade, and it's so nice. So everything you have figured out about yourself and your favorite trading style, you have to get this down onto a piece of paper, and then we're moving on to the next step. And this is what we could call do the boring work. And I don't like calling it the boring work. Boring is what 99% would call it. I call it the creation of a money printing blueprint, because that's basically what trading is. When you have your blueprint down, I've said it before, I'll say it again, you are able to print money from thin air because you're literally just executing on the same thing over and over and then getting a higher return than what you lose. But in order to get there, you have to do the boring work. And the boring work is testing your plan out, testing your business plan out, because the only way that you can figure out whether your business works or not is by testing your theories. And you cannot come to a conclusion if you have minimal data. You have to have a lot of data. Trading is a business, and data and trading is trades. So there's 2 ways that you can test this out. You can test it out forwards or backwards. And well, this is 2 different tests. You should do both. There is pros and cons with forward and backwards. The pros with backwards is that it's faster than testing forwards because, well, you can do it over a long stretch of time within a couple of hours. The cons with doing it backwards is that you have to be genuine with yourself. It's very easy to not be genuine with yourself because you want a good result on this test. And you don't want to put in a lot of work into something that will not pan out. So it's easy to spot a trade, take the trade, and then when it goes to stop loss, find some random ass excuse to why you shouldn't have taken the trade, and then not noting it down into your data set, into your log, into your journal. And this is where, this is just where it goes wrong. Because obviously if you don't put the correct data in, you will never gain the confidence and clarity that you need in order to succeed in trading. So backtesting, you have to be really genuine with yourself. It is a hard thing to do, but it's not that hard. Again, just be genuine and be willing to put in the hours because it takes a lot of times. Now, testing this, you cannot do this on 2 trades, 5 trades, or 10 trades, 20, 30, 40, 50. No, it has to be 100 or more, preferably more. Why more? Why not 10 trades? If you take a coin, for example, and you flip it 2 times, you should hit heads 1 time and then tails another time. But that's not how probabilities work. In order to play probabilities in your favor, you have to have a lot of data. It's like a casino. A casino wins in the long run because a casino gets so many people gambling in the casino, and then they have a tiny percentage that is in the favor of the casino. It's basically the same with trading. You have to have an edge in the market that has a higher percent of winning than not. You have to have at least 100 trades. If you flip a coin, for example, 10 times, you can hit head 8 times and tails 2 times. That could mean that you have lost 8 trades in a row. And every normal guy that don't know anything about trading or has not been in the space for a long time will think that this strategy that they're using is a failure because they lost 8 times out of the 10. But in reality, they're just not looking at the bigger picture, because trading is about looking at the bigger picture. Once you look at the bigger picture, you don't give a jack shit about the trade you take, because the 1 trade you lose, or the 4, or the 5, or the 6 trades you lose in a row is part of the 100, 500, 1,000 trades. And when you have this system where you have tested it out for over 100 trades, you will have the confidence and clarity as soon as the system is proven. And the other way that you can test it is forward. So by testing it forward, it's more genuine because it's in real time. It's very hard to fuck up there and be ungenuine with yourself. And if you do that, well, you're just an idiot. But it takes a lot of time. This is another test. You should do them separately. And if you're testing multiple pairs, you should do the same test with multiple pairs, and then you can compare it up to one another. Moving on to the next step. After you have taken your test of 100 trades or more, just start with 100. That's the easiest way, and it will give you a very good look whether your strategy works or not. Then you have to validate your test. And you have to ask yourself, have I been true to myself? And in how many of these trades have I actually followed my rules? You just have to go through these trades one at a time. And every time you find a trade where you have not followed your rules, you scratch that off the board. Then you'll probably have 70 or 80 trades where you have followed your rules, maybe 50 where you have, and then you take the rest where you have not and you scratch them. And then you take the remaining. So if you have 70, you do 30 more trades. You have to have a clear picture of what is right and what is wrong. And as soon as you've done this, well, then you know whether your strategy is profitable or not. If your strategy is profitable, then you're pretty much good to go. And then you have to figure out, okay, how can I make this even more profitable? And if the system is not profitable, this business plan is not profitable, then you have to figure out why wasn't my strategy profitable. It could be because of X, it could be because of Y, it could be because of Z. And then you have to figure out, all right, can this strategy be made profitable? And it's simple. You just have to go through these trades one by one and then tweak the different metrics and figure out in the bigger picture, all right, if I tweak the risk to reward, was this strategy profitable? If the strategy was already profitable, all right, tweak the risk to reward as well. See if you could make it more profitable. And there's some other metrics too that I'm not going to go into this because then it's going to get a little bit complicated. And then step 11, once you have done this enough times and you have found a strategy that is profitable and you have been 100% genuine to yourself, this is where you finally reach confidence and clarity. So now it's just time to execute, print money, and refine your skills. So that's basically how you do it. That's how you become a trader. And well, it doesn't take more than 100 hours. As soon as you have the skills, as soon as you know how the market moves and everything around it, and when you make it simple. And this is basically also what I help people with. I help people execute on this, learn everything about the market in the right way, in the most simple way as possible, so they can get down their system and figure out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and basically create a system that will make them print money out of thin air. So if you find this interesting and you want some help with this, if you want to be a profitable trader, if you want the freedom and everything that you can get becoming a profitable trader, if you want to scale your life, then I do have some spots open in my one-on-one mentorship. You can apply through the link right below this video. And then I'll just personally contact you if you're a good fit, and then, well, we'll get straight to work. Super simple, no bullshit, no setters, no extravagant sales psychology, nothing. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're just eager to learn more about trading, I'm going to post a lot of content on this channel, and I am looking forward to it. This is the next chapter in my life, to really put everything that I have learned over the past 6 years out there and just help as many people as possible. I've already helped around 200 in Denmark, and now I'm expanding internationally. So I hope you follow along on the journey, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff about trading and mindset and business. And well, it's all about just keep going and improving every single day. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.